Hello and welcome to Decorate It. My name is Mary and this is Wes. And tonight's episode is episode 55. It is part 4 of the Built to Cast series.
Part 4.
We're picking it back up again. It's been too long. And I kind of lied to you guys last time because I said I was going to have the tiger done by today. That is a lie. It is not done today. So
it is being done today.
In good fashion. And we're going to do a demo.
So you haven't lied yet.
Not yet. Not technically going to be telling you the truth, just it wasn't done ahead of time. But regardless, tiger wraps, this is a brand new thing for me. I've only literally done one in my entire life. I tried one with some of that thread that went from like black to white, but it was in the bands.
Yeah.
And it was a disaster. It was awful. But that was like 10, how long ago was that? I've been doing this for 14 years. It was like 8 or 9 years ago when I tried that one. And I never picked it up again. And then Wes volunteered me for the Built to Cast series to do a tiger wrap. And so here we are. But tigers, I think, generally speaking, I like tigers. I like how they look.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like the monotony of doing threads side by side and making sure they don't like change their patterns.
But it's quick and easy.
It is. And it looks good. It just takes a lot of trial and error and practicing to see what colors work really good with each other, to see what happens to them. Trying to get certain characteristics in your tigers, trying to get certain looks. I know Doc Ski, I always bring him up when we start talking about tiger wraps, but he's got so many videos on YouTube about how he does his and the different techniques that you can do. And it's a wealth of knowledge to go look up his channel, but he's done all kinds. And this is my second one. I'm not even gonna call my first one a real one because it really was just a lazy way out, in my opinion, doing the black and white bands because I didn't know what it was going to do. I really didn't. It was just naive. I was ignorant of what was going to happen. So it's fine. Some of the things that I have learned, because obviously anytime that I start teaching something that I'm not aware of to myself and to start talking about it with other people, I go on a deep dive and search up a whole bunch of information to make sure that I'm not telling you the wrong thing or I'm not doing the wrong thing. And basically their colors is going to be the biggest thing to figure out, and what works together, what doesn't work together, what colors put on top, what colors put on bottom. I decided to go with what people are telling me is the harder one, which is 4 threads for the base, because I saw Doc's video where he did 4 threads for the base, and then he did 4 over the top and pulled out 3, and I liked how that one looked. So in true Mary fashion, we went for the hardest one first. So it is what it is. And I think burnishing is another thing. You got to find a tool that you really like to work with.
Yeah.
The one that I used for my test was actually one of my leather sculpting tools. I didn't realize that that's what I had picked up, but it has a little bit of like a curve on the flap side of it. But tonight I'm going to be using the true like yellow burnisher that you can get from Mud Hole, because it's basically shaped the same way. It's just got a slightly wider footprint. So maybe it'll help with making it look cooler. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a surprise whenever we unveil it the next time. And I decided, once I got my base layer on there and I did the burnishing it opposite of each other, back and forth all the way around, just little turns. So it was really cool, a lot of burnishing going all the way around. And I put 4 layers of epoxy in between to try to give it more depth, and then went back with the overwrap and removed 3. And I originally had left my neon green because I'm doing mahi colors. So I've got 2 different blues, a yellow and a green. And I did the neon green as the top. And I didn't like, I saw movement. It looked kind of cool, but I didn't like it as well. And so I took the top off, because that's the layer you can kind of mess with what it's going to look like. And I went back and put one of the darker blues on top. And I liked how that one looked a lot better. You can actually see more movement with it. It's one of those things you kind of have to practice. Just kind of sit down and do it. But it's not It's not something you should be scared of doing. Just do it. It's just one of those things. Just do it because tigers, and I think that's where people laugh really hard at me because I do all these decorative wraps. I do all this crazy stuff with the leather and the grips, and I haven't done a basic tiger. Like I just never did one. It's like, okay, Mary, rail it back in and let's try some things that should be the beginning steps to going up to that accelerated stuff. But it is what it is. Alice took control and we went far left field and never came back home. And applying epoxy, I think Doc talked about, you can do anywhere from 2 to 4 layers, just depending on how much depth you want to.
But for our layers, that would probably be more like 4 to 8.
What do you mean? I did
We put
4
it on
coats.
thinner than a lot of people.
Well, I did 4 of my normal coats, which I do put up. My coats are very thin. So I did 4 of my coats and did thin coats. So I guess that would probably be like somebody's 2 to 3.
Yeah.
But you guys will see it if I get all the way through it tonight. And I'm going to be doing 8 inches. And bear with me, I don't do this on speed. So 4 colors going down at once, trying to make sure they all stay together and they don't start to like ripple or get spaces or anything of that nature. It's a little time consuming. Without any further ado, let's start wrapping because it's going to take a lot longer than
this intro
I would like to admit. Unfortunately, we have run through our favorite pull-through thread, which was the Nanofill, and they stopped making it.
Which, if anyone has any 17-pound Berkeley Nanofill in crystal color, which is the white one, I will be happy to buy it from you.
Yes, we will pay you. We will pay you for it because it's our favorite pull-through, and it doesn't snag. So I'm going to have to use regular thread tonight, and I'm not going to be happy about it. All right, so what I'm going to do, when I was doing my test, I just wrapped all 4 at the same time, but in hopes that I can start my tie-off, quote-unquote. We're just going to, actually, I'm going to have to wrap over that anyways, because the EVA, hold on, that EVA is jacked from where we glued it on there. I should have checked that. Hold, please. Actually, didn't we have a winding check we were putting on this? We have a winding check for this, don't we? The silver one?
Yes, but it was designed to go over the...
I can ignore that. Yeah, it's going to be covered up. Good. Good, because that's atrocity.
Dylan, we could order it off of eBay if I wanted to pay like $60 to $100 for 150 yards of it, but I'm just not going to be raped by price gouging.
This has got the belt on. Well, I don't need it when I go to turn the other ones.
You can turn the speed down.
I can't control the power wrapper. I've not sat down to try to learn to do that, which is where you would probably be better to do this, but you don't want to. So
it's not that I don't want to. It's that you need to learn.
Well, so do you, sir. So the idea here is going to be that I'll have this poking out as a trim from when I start the second layer. That's the concept, anyways.
Narrow, I'll have to look that up and see if we can try it. And yes, Dylan, that is insane. As soon as they quit making it, everybody that had any jacked the prices up astronomically.
If I knew it was going to run out, we would have bought it. A lot of it.
I bought it back when I worked at Bass Pro and got like 25-30% off of it.
That just happened to be the line that we snapped when we went to the beach. Remember?
Yep.
And we lost almost the whole spool on it.
Yes, Dylan, it is going to be a Mahi themed all the way around. Silver guides, silver reel seat, but Mahi themed grips with a Mahi themed tiger wrap.
It's a lot of extra, but that's okay. I'm just going to let these lay in there how they want to. Because last time I tried to force them into a pattern and they said no. So the 2 blues are going to end up being side by side. And in my previous testing of that, it was fine. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to get these anchored on there and then we're going to measure how long I have to do this. And this is where it hurts my eyes to sit here and stare at these colors side by side. Like, bleh. All right, so we're back to the 0 axis on this, and just really quickly so I can keep up. I need to mark how long with my broken China marker that I plan on doing this wrap, and we're only going to do about an 8-inch. So that's where we're going to. Fruit flies are back.
Why are you doing that?
Am I doing what?
Why are you letting them in?
It's the dogs being silly and not coming in the door when you call them. And then if you like push the door just a little smaller than they feel comfortable coming in, they won't come in.
Well, it doesn't help the kids were off Friday too, and it got back above 85 degrees.
Mm-hmm. Trying not to get any gaps in there, but I'm also trying not to pack it too much because then it's going to warp the lines. I also don't want to see gaps. My previous little example that I did on that PVC, I actually had a lot of gaps because my eyes were crossed that day and I was struggling to get the thread down side by side. And to be honest, because it was a test, I wasn't, being immaculate with it. And it actually turned out to look pretty good. I didn't see any of the gappage in it. And that was on a white base. But that doesn't mean, be lazy. Small gaps may be okay, but I'm going to say they're not. We're just going to be more meticulous with this. And hope it turns out good. And if I can get in a rhythm, this won't take that long.
Duncan said gaps be evil.
Yeah, I can totally see where they would be awful. I need to do some modifications to this thread runner. The tension I have on the thread is actually pretty low because there's 4 threads coming through at once. But because there is such a pull from the thread carriage to the runner, it wants to pull my runner out. But that's because I've also screwed up the ball bearings in the runner too. When it first got here, it was tight, but I have on accident ripped it out multiple times, so they're a little skewed. And so I fight with it a lot. I guess this is the weird thing about me too, because I despise this. This is like a guide wrap for me, I guess.
Alan has asked, how long did it take you to learn this process?
The tiger, you're looking at the learning process.
This is the first official one she'll be doing.
Like I literally have only done one other one. I don't even count my first one because it was just bad choice of thread. But I watched a few of Doc Ski's videos and was like, okay, I get the point of it, and sat down and did a test that was like 4 inches long, burnished it, got some good movement out of it, and was like, cool. I had planned on doing a couple more tests, but we got so busy with rod orders. I haven't had time to test it, and I wanted to keep getting this rod built. So I decided to be a little ballsy. I don't really know if that's a word that I should be putting out on the internet, but I decided to jump headfirst into the endeavor and just go for it. See how it turned out.
Kevin said I would like to get some custom handles made. Kevin, send us a message. We can get that squared away for you.
After the podcast, be happy to answer any questions you got about it. You can either send me a message on the business side or you can email me, either one.
Duncan said, I enjoy the fact that you are willing to put yourself out there to learn and do the tiger live.
Thanks. I really don't have a problem with showing something. I think my biggest thing as a rod builder when I first started, and Wes will attest to this, I was scared to do anything. I was terrified to try anything new outside of just decorative wraps. Like that's what I started with. And so these concepts of these dragon scales and the tiger wraps, and even though it looked relatively simple, I just was like, nope, can't, not going to do it. Same thing with marbling. I told myself, I got in my head and said, I'll never need to do that. I don't want to learn how to do that because part of me was like, I can't learn how to do that. So now that I've shifted that mindset to why not, or let's see, every time somebody asks if I can do something, I just go for it. And eventually you're going to fail a couple times, but the good thing is that you just do it again.
Neryl said, can you do a video on how you set up thread carriage with bigger Madeira spools?
So no, I can't. Because I don't use the Madeira spools on the thread carriage. If I'm going to use Madeira thread on the thread carriage, I'm going to respool it to smaller spools. They don't fit. They're too big. I've tried. I've tried for many years. But if you're going to use Madeira spools and you don't want to have to like wind them onto a different spool, get some. Well, no, they won't even fit in that. Never mind. I was going to say to get the bobbins, but they won't fit in the bobbins either. You're going to have to respool off of the big spools. There's just no if and buts about it. We have a bunch of old wooden spools that his grandfather had. We got a box of them, and you can use those or Mud Hole sells empty ones. And I just stick a pencil and a drill and put my big spool on, usually on the CPW, because it has the prong that sticks up where you can put the spool on it, and I'll just sit there and just spin the drill. Some people will put them on a mandrel.
Alan has asked, I would like to become a rod builder. Where would you suggest I begin? Alan, I would say that you go to Mudhole and get one of the all-in-one rod building kits that comes with everything you need to build a rod, including the equipment.
I would also encourage you to take a class. They have online and in-person classes, and you can check their schedule, sign up for it. And what's great about the classes is that you're going to get a finished rod at the end of it. So the class includes whatever rod along with the everything you're going to need in order to finish that rod.
And you can use code DECORATED10 to get your discount on the rod building kit.
Mm-hmm. Check with the class though. I'm not sure if it's a purchase separate. I think it's all included in the class. So if you take the class, you're going to get the stuff. If you decide to do it on your own, like reading some books and stuff, books are always a good resource. Wes and I collect them as much as we can. The Don't take the name as something to be scared of, but the Advanced Rod Building book by Dale Clemens is like it is needed. It's like the Bible, as some people call it, for rod builders. And that's a good book to have to reference. It tells you all kinds of things on how to get started with rod building. You live in a day and age where it's like we have every access to everything on the internet, so that's awesome. But Mudhole's classes are definitely going to be a great start.
Kevin said, I just want to say I follow you and have been building for fishing rods for over 30 years. I actually started marbling fishing rods 25 years ago. I still have some of those in my garage, but I believe your artwork is far more up to date and looks amazing with all the thread work you do. Keep it up. It's always good to see someone continue on the trade.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy helping people realize that doing this stuff that they don't feel comfortable doing isn't as scary as they make it out to be. Because I went through that period, didn't I, Wes?
For a long time.
It took a long time for me to go, okay, I'll try it. I wouldn't even do epoxy for years. I made Wes do all of it. And now he's gotten back. He's working in the shop now, so I get to make him do it again.
For now.
That's one of my least favorite things to do. I don't mind doing epoxy on like decorative wraps or long stretches of things, but I can't stand doing it on guide wraps.
I'm going to kick epoxy work back to you starting Monday.
Nope. That's your job. You've been hired for epoxy and glue up, sir. I know we're a little over halfway, but I'm having to hold that thread carriage or thread runner down. Hurting.
Sounds like we need to order another one.
When it kept pulling out, and it's pulled out now, and it keeps pulling out, it does some funny stuff. And it's my fault it's like that. It doesn't, I promise you guys, don't judge the thread runner off of how mine behaves. It doesn't act like that. I have destroyed it from knocking it off and doing all kinds of stuff. Almost there. Whoa. And if you're really good with, doing this on speed, then by all means do the speed. But I suck at wrapping on speed, so that's not an option.
No time like the present.
I'm not doing that live. Heck no. I have to practice with one thread, not four, doing that.
Nerol said, I seen a guy do the tiger wrap with 4-thread bobbin, and it looked kind of easier, and he let them hang off the edge of the workbench.
I want to try that too, because I think that would be a lot easier in my opinion. The thread bobbins, in my opinion, are definitely a win when it comes to multiple threads. Like you got a main with a bunch of inlays, bobbins all day long. Or you're doing a bunch of changes, bobbins all day long. But
see, I'm the opposite. I can't do bobbins.
I like bobbins.
I tend to, somehow they get in the way and then mess up.
Well, the ones we have now, the ones we had before were crap.
The new ones with the bungee are great.
Yeah, the bungee ones.
I still somehow mess them up.
We're almost there. We're so close. I usually let mine hang. Every once in a while, I'll use the bungee to put them on the thing, but I usually let them hang. But I feel like for me, I have taught myself every pain in the butt way to do things. Because, my inlays, I used to do the tape down method, and I'd cut them free, and they'd just be this, like, a mile long of string that I have to unwind every time I got the inlays in there. It's just reteaching myself how to do things simpler.
But for that, the bobbins with the bungee are the best thing ever.
Yeah. But having 4 threads running like this, hanging, I think that would be ideal too. Because you could put them under here, hold the main thread, and it would keep them from bumping up. I'm gonna try that next time. We're almost at the fun part.
You're just gonna cut one, lay it under, cut one, lay it under.
So
Or are you gonna tie them all off?
I don't know yet. I have a technical trim on that side, but I may just do what I did last time. When I got to the end of it, I just wound them around and taped them down. But I think I need to end them.
I would cut one color, lay it under, wrap over, cut it, wrap over. Or cut three and lay them
Yeah,
under,
I'm
and
gonna
then
cut
wrap
3
over.
and lay them under. We're almost there. Woohoo! Yay, we survived. Get rid of this now. Oh, hold on. Let me get my junky hair tie. All right, make sure I cut the right one. Ding! Bye, bye, bye. Need to get that around to the bottom. Pull that up to fix that in a minute. It's wavery. Do it like it's supposed to be.
Just don't forget your pull through.
I know. I gotta wrap. I'm gonna wrap a good bit because, like I said, I want that to kind of be the trim poking out. Got that pull through already over there. See how much of a pain this is tonight. Hate working with friends. These people that don't use tape. I don't know how you cannot use tape. Tape makes my life so much easier. If it's in my way, I'm gonna tape it out. Get out of my face. Right? Right.
Sure.
All right. You want to take bets if it's gonna break or not?
You shouldn't. You don't have that much tension on it.
Mm-hmm. No, but you know what I did? I snapped my pull through in half. That's why I hate using tape or using thread. We did it! Yay! Woohoo! Everybody do a round of applause.
Clap, 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 clap.
Ah!
What'd you do?
It left a fuzzy.
Why would you do that?
Look at that. I don't even have the lighter in here to fix
There's
that.
one over there next to the truck plate.
Oh, the big one?
Mm-hmm.
Block the air coming from it. Good enough. All right. Yay. We're done.
No, you're not.
I'm just kidding. You know, I'm just kidding with you.
I joke, I joke, I kid, I kid.
Joke. Haha, funny. We're going to leave those because I was a dummy and didn't anchor them in. So it's fine. But they're just going to stay there. But that's okay. All right. Now, to keep, I was going to put masking tape on it, but I'm not going to do that because I don't trust it. I am going to wrap both sides of this in painter's tape. And this is just to help me keep up with which way I'm burnishing movements. It's also for me for later on, I'm going to take a picture so I know which way I moved. So this is the top. So this is the 0 axis over here. And this is the 180. So about here is the 90. And then roughly in here is the 270. So I wrapped this way. So my first one, I'm going to stay true to how I wrapped. So on my 0, we are going to go, make sure that's the true 0. We're going to burnish it that way. Then we're going to go back and forth. I don't have to necessarily do the marks. I just like to make sure I keep up with myself. And here we're going to try to sneak in a couple extra ones because I want to make sure they're all opposite. We'll see what happens. Enter in the tool I always talk crap about.
Because it's not a packing tool, it's a burnishing tool.
Not a packing tool, it's a burnishing tool.
Everybody tries to use it as a packing tool and then gets mad at it, and it's not a packing tool.
Not a packing tool.
Unless you're laying it flat and packing as you're doing power wrapping or burnishing.
Burnishing, it does great with. I've used it to burnish a lot, but you don't want to put a whole bunch of pressure down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to use this part of it, and we're just going to drag 2 or 3 times, some maybe 4 across, turn it a little bit, and now we're going to go back the other way. It's okay if it makes noise. And we're just going to keep doing this back and forth all the way around. And you can kind of, maybe if the camera's picking it up, you can kind of see it wiggling.
It will if you adjust the exposure.
Is it too bright?
Yeah, it's super bright. You can see the thread better now.
All right, so you can kind of start to see it kind of wavering a little bit. That's where I ended. I didn't want to move it. I didn't want to walk away because I was going to forget where I was at. And doing different like push pulls and stuff is going to give you different things. Since this really is only my like second one, I'm sticking to the basics of just back and forth. Ooh, it isn't making my eyeballs crossed.
Neryl said, "Oh man, I don't know how many times I wanted to throw that across the room because I was using it as a packing tool."
Yeah, it's not a packing tool.
Yeah, as a packing tool, it fails.
It's not a good
It
packing
is
tool.
a great burnisher and a great way to do speed wrapping for a long distance and keep the threads together. If you just lay it on the blank and push it against the threads, it'll just
Yeah,
so smoothly.
do it like this and just move with it,
Yep.
and you'll get the.
Or lay it flat and do it.
Yeah, you can do it this way too. But yeah, packing tool, not a packing tool. Get a real one. Get a real packing tool. We didn't need it tonight because I just used my fingernails. So all the movement's done on it, and at this point, it is just epoxy. Yeah, our Pro Coat. Where are the little plunger things at?
Over here on the shelf.
I like those better than these things. I always bust the end of the tip.
You know how many rods I've done with those and haven't busted the tip on them?
That's because you are better at epoxy than I am. Apparently, I have an impatience thing when it comes to this.
A little bit.
Anybody that's been a faithful, loyal watcher to the show, I have officially watched Jar Jar Binks, and I am offended that Wes is calling me Jar Jar Binks.
Our boys wanted to. We went through the entire Mandalorian series, and then they were asking questions, and I was like, "Well, won't we just watch Star Wars in the way that it needs to be watched for y'all to understand it?" So we started watching Star Wars in chronological order, not release date order.
Yeah, and I met Jar Jar Binks, and I was like, that fool is clumsy. I'm not okay with you calling me Jar Jar Binks. Although that night was definitely Jar Jar Binks because I could not talk.
Mm-hmm.
Misa. Wes can't stand the way I mix epoxy, so if you guys could see his face, he is just
She is
absolute.
driving me crazy right now.
He is just an absolute disdain right now of me.
My blood pressure went up watching this.
Creating the bubbles. The bubbles go away if you don't put them on thick. Trust the process. Has any of my wraps ever had bubbles in them? Nope.
Because I've done the epoxy on them.
You're lying. I have done my own wraps in epoxy. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. You were gone for a whole year and a half. I don't want to hear it. So yeah, he's going to be upset about
Now
this.
we're going to share this shop even more than before.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I know. Some people are going to be like, because all the amount of bubbles in there, but it's fine. It's fine because I don't put it on thick. I put it on thin, which means that they're able to get to the surface and pop. The other thing,
you better check that speed.
No. We're going to tape that because I can't listen to that go. So I'm not going to put epoxy on this because I was dumb. I should have anchored those in, but it's fine. I'll fix it later because it'll be covered up anyways.
I agree, Alan. Looks like she's doing a fine job epoxying on her own. You're off the hook now.
I told you I'm fine with bands.
It's guides.
It's guides.
It's always the guides.
Like it's just guides. Like I do just fine. Look at all the bubbles. Where's the heat gun?
Should be on the floor down there.
It's not supposed to be on the floor. Plugged in.
Should be.
Yes. 240.
Yeah, that's what I put it at.
Now wait. 240. Low speed. We're gonna blow it up. Get rid of the bubbles. This is why I don't mind adding bubbles to the epoxy. And if I can't get rid of them by doing this, then guess what? I pull more epoxy back off. And my husband will sit here and tell you that if I didn't put the bubbles in to begin with, I wouldn't have to worry about that. But
precisely.
To each their own. Another thing I noticed about the Tigers is they do produce more bubbles than most, other than metallic. And I guess it's just because of the
gaps and not packed tightly.
Air gets trapped in there. But I'd rather do a lot thinner coats more often than I would trying to get it done one and done, two and done. Yeah, I'm gonna pull some off. And that's fine. I think it was because I used that big yellow one this time instead of the purple brushes. I don't like those yellow brushes.
You should try that one I've been using.
Yeah, I should. Bubbles are pretty much gone in this anyways. There's a few in there. Look, no bubbles.
Yes, Alan, they do. And they even have a fly rod specific kit If you don't want to do the kit, I highly suggest their native line of fly blanks. Duncan said the first layer is to set the burnish, really. The next few give the depth.
Yep, he is correct.
Narrow, we are from two different worlds on that one.
What?
Mary likes the harder brushes that are like the cheap plastic ones. I like a very soft brush.
He uses the sable brushes. These.
No, I don't use that one.
But it's ones like this.
No, it's not even.
No?
It's this one. That's my epoxy brush.
I'm sorry. He uses this one. That's his brush. I tried to use brushes like this in the previous time, but I dropped it in the acetone thinking, oh, I'll go back and clean it. And I forgot about it. And when I finally remembered it, I didn't have a brush anymore. The acetone had eat it. So I don't do that.
Webb said, I was going to say sable for oil painting. A lot of people prefer the sable brushes. That yellow one I use, I don't know where it came from.
This is one of my paintbrushes you grabbed.
It's soft like sable on the tip, but it's got the backbone of the hard plastic ones. So it's kind of a mix between the two. I don't like sable brushes. They're too soft for my liking because I'm always doing it on speed, and probably I couldn't even tell you the RPMs that I do it on, but a true sable brush folds too much for how I like to do epoxy.
There's like, hold on.
I'm sure it's a bubble and not something else.
It's okay, it's something else. I was like, there's no way.
Brian said, talking about Pro Wrap thread, is size A color fast the same size as size A metallic?
It's relatively close.
Pretty close. The size A nylon would be closer to the size A metallic. The size A color fast is going to be a little thicker because it has the color fast added to it.
Because it has color preserver in it. Ta-da! There you go. There's your first steps to a tire.
Did you burnish it enough?
Hopefully. We'll see. Won't know until it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you get.
Right.
To follow up with that, obviously I won't do this on the next podcast. We'll work it in between coats of epoxy with rods we have going on here, but we're going to put probably 3 or 4 more layers because that one is very thin that I did on that one. And hold on. I see bugs flying around it. I'll turn that light off.
Neryl said, I was wanting to buy brushes. I guess you'll just have to buy a couple different brands. It's honestly your best bet. Buy some of the cheap ones. Buy some middle of the run ones that are kind of a mix between the two, and buy some higher end sable brushes and see what works best.
Play around with it. But we'll probably put another like 3 or 4 coats on that because that one was really thin. And then the next one will be doing the top layer and then getting to see how good or how bad I did. And really won't know until we get there. So that's all it is to the tigers. The next step when we do the overwrap after the epoxy is if you wrapped from the butt of the rod towards the tip, like I did tonight where I went from the grip towards the tip of the rod, we have to go the opposite way. So if you started on the tip side and wrapped down towards the grip, your top layer has to go the opposite way. And we'll do the same steps. It'll be another 4 layer of threads going over. Play around with how many threads that you want to do for your overwrap. I'm doing 4 and 4 because I liked the gap of the 3.
Mm-hmm.
And you can play around with different sizes too. Using some D's or C's mixed in there to open up more gaps and stuff. You just have to be very mindful when you're laying the threads down that they're not trying to roll over top of each other and keep it packed. And that's pretty much it. And like I said, if you want more in-depth, like really seeing what different techniques do, check out Docsky on YouTube because that's just, he's got so many different examples of what different colors look like together. And he tells you what layers he's doing, what threads he puts together, what colors they are, how many he's done, how many layers of epoxy are in between. So he kind of takes some of the guesswork out of it for you.
How do you get rid of all the bubbles in the epoxy?
Heat gun.
Don't put them in there in the first place.
Mix slowly. Like if you don't want to put them in there to begin with, mix slowly. The CRB little mixer, best thing. Yep. Because it's not going to add any bubbles to it. If you're going to be like Wes takes 3 minutes and he's
No, I mix faster than that, but
he's slow.
I'll take the cup like this. This is your cup. It's sitting up this way. I'll tilt it. And then I'll start mixing and never touching the sides. I'm in the middle.
The bubbles
middle
come
towards
from
the bottom.
scraping the cup.
And then I'll take and I'll swipe the side of the cup, mix all that in, and I'll keep it off the cup.
And I dig all the way down because I don't mind if I introduce bubbles because I know that I'm not going to put a very thick layer on there later. And usually, like you saw, I peel off most of it if I can't get the bubbles out from using heat gun. If you want the bubbles to dissipate, let's say you add them into the cup and you want them to go away, get a bottom of a soda can or aluminum foil, or get the tin cups that Mudhole has and dump it in there, because the more surface area that it spreads out over allows the bubbles to be released. So they'll just pop, 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 pop. You don't have to worry about it because now they're all gone. But you're going to lose some epoxy in the changing from cup to cup. But if you don't want bubbles at all, get the CRB epoxy mixer because that's just not going to introduce them. And while you're working on your tiger wrap, you can have it already mixed up and you can just go boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, because you could put part A and part B in the cup in the mixer and not start it, and it won't start to actually
It's not going to
combine and start the process of curing.
Yeah.
And then once you're almost ready, start the mixer. By the time you are ready, it's done mixing with no bubbles, and then you're good to go.
Mm-hmm. The other thing, the old school way to get rid of bubbles too was to apply your epoxy and then just let it drip. So like, don't have it spinning, just let it drip and wick off the extra, turn it, let it drip, wick off the extra, turn it, and that's going to cause all those bubbles to disappear. And it's also going to leave you with a level finish too. So if you're struggling, try that.
Neryl said, also, the more epoxy you mix, the easier it is to not put bubbles in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. The lower the amount, the easier it is to add bubbles in because you've got less that you're able to mix.
Yeah.
So you're able to add more air to it.
And if you're not scraping the cup like I was, then you're not going to put bubbles in it unless you're just whipping it. And I don't recommend to whip it, honestly. All right. So I want to go ahead and take a minute and thank our sponsors, Foundation Mudhole, all one and the same. We appreciate everything they do for us and also allowing us to give you guys a discount code, Decorate It 10. It saves you 10% off of Pro products, MHX, CRB products, American Tackle, and Gaho Reel Seats. So anytime that you need to grab some supplies, make sure you type in Decorate It 10 to get you 10% off of your stuff. And that is just a big thank you from us to you guys for supporting us as well. And if you haven't signed up for the advanced seminar classes that are next month, October 24th through 26th, there is some few tickets left. You should definitely check it out. Wes and I are going to be teaching. Mike Groen's going to be there. Bill Falconer, Kevin from JYG is also going to be there, and a couple other people are going to be teaching. They're going to feed you. They're going to have discounts available for you while you're there, and you're also going to hear about the new 2026 product launch before the rest of the public does. So check it out. Go to mudhole.com and get your tickets for the advanced seminar classes. And we hope to see you there soon. And on that note, I also want to discuss our product of the night,
the magnet set. So this will work with anything that has spring style tensioners, and you can't have enough of these. First of all, the difference in tension is literally night and day between the two.
I don't like the springs. I like the magnets. The only thing I will say about the magnets is be careful with the magnets.
Don't play with the magnets.
They will pinch your finger. Our young ones have found this out very, very quickly.
And then when they do that, they go and break because they're magnets.
And those are very strong. And when the force of them comes together, they have snapped them in half. Great news is when they're snapped in half, they still work. But be careful with them. But they, in my opinion, are a better tensioner than the springs ever could possibly be. My 2 cents. I like them. I think they're easier to work with. And as long as your kids don't get a hold of them, or you don't, be careful putting them on because they'll pinch the out of you.
You know, I wonder if you could put them on like the Alps and CPW style tensioners.
Instead of doing the...
Write that down.
You write it down. That's your little thing. And what everybody has also been waiting for tonight is our giveaway. What we're giving away tonight is
a 4-spool thread carriage.
Actually, the one I was using in the video.
Yep.
Same exact one. It does not come with the magnets for this. You have the spacers and you have the springs. If you decide to upgrade with the magnets, guess what? You get a discount using Decorate It 10. But what is our question going to be for them to win this?
Who is credited with creating the tiger wrap?
I specifically made a purpose to not mention this name tonight in the intro. Because didn't want to give it away. But if you did watch our previous tiger wrap episode where we were showing you other people's work with the tiger wraps, we did discuss him. Carlos
Good
got
job,
through.
Carlos.
Congratulations, Carlos. Woo! You get a four thread carriage. Also, if you don't have the RBS Pro G2, it's also compatible with the Alps.
It'll fit in the other tracks.
The Alps and the Pac Bay. I like the 4 thread spool carriage. It's great whenever you're trying to do multiple threads. Obviously, it's better than 2 because now you don't have to have 2 extra hanging off with thread bobbins, but have fun with it. It's fun. It's good. And I like the magnets that are attached to it and that little dip in the tray so you can kind of throw stuff in there and not lose it.
The magnets to hold the razor blade are one of my favorite parts.
I used to lose the razor blades all the time.
Because you can just toss it on it and it'll magnetize somewhere.
It'll just boop, right to it. Just make sure that you don't magnetize the razor down on top of the thread coming through.
I have done that.
I have done that.
I've thrown it and it's...
Oh, man. Time for Q&A. Get your questions answered. Ask anything related to rod building. I will mention in here, if you are not going to be able to make it to the Mudhole Advanced Seminars next month, you definitely should check out going to ICRBE in February through March 1st. That is the International Custom Rod Building Expo. We're going to be there, and I will be...
in all the capacities.
I will be doing some teaching, some seminars. There'll be some stuff going on in the booth, and also the Learning Center, which is part of Thread Central, is going to be doing some demonstrations as well. And I do believe that I will be speaking on behalf of Mudhole for a couple of those. So
I may be too.
And you may be too now. Saturday the 28th of February through March 1st, which is a Sunday. We may or may not have some classes on the 27th. That's still up for debate. If you go to the lodging, that's the link that's on the website, you get a discounted rate, but make sure you get it pretty quick because they do sell out pretty fast. And the Marriott and the Embassy Suites by Hilton are both attached to the convention center, so you don't have to leave.
One's like across the street, but you can walk through the Hilton and a breezeway to get to everything. So,
yep, and there's a list of vendors that have currently signed up for it, and that list will continue to keep growing throughout the year. But I love the expo.
And Lemaglass is coming back.
Yeah, Lemaglass is going to be there again this year. And also, who's the other one? That's the Custom Rod Builders Guild is joining us for the first time in a very, very, very long time. What is your method for smoothing out the point of your packing tool? Mine is getting a bit rough to the point where if I slip, it sometimes will damage the thread fibers.
240.
Sandpaper. I will take the tip with sandpaper and make little circles. And I mean, if it's a big nasty burl that you put it into it, take it to a bench grinder so that you can make the tip round again.
Grind.
You go, Jaja.
Misa Jaja Visa.
So, but you know, if it's a big burl, we've knocked a chunk out or something because you kept dropping it, take it to the bench grinder, reshape the end. But 220 or 240 sandpaper, just make some circles and just kind of start fine tuning it, and then just keep checking it. If it's gonna catch, you'll feel it on your palm or your skin before you take it over to the blank. That EVA looks great behind you. You know, there's a box sitting on my dining room table with all of the said colors in it that you ordered. I didn't get you a tiara. I'm sorry. I couldn't find one that was good enough and wasn't too Cinderella-y. Because I looked, it was Halloween time. I was like, yeah, we'll be able to find something that would be kind of wicked for him, but no, we couldn't find it. But your shirt's also in there too. Pretty EVA for sale. If anybody needs EVA to make some grips. I have this and I have sheets.
Top 3 most popular blanks you build on. The ATX LB70M.
That lock bait blank.
The, NEPS series of bass blanks. And the Bushido Nanofine Extreme 7.2 and 7.11.
That Bushido, I think we've had 4 or 5 builds on it.
4 sitting right here waiting.
We had a couple more on it.
That are all in progress.
Mm-hmm. The Mahi Tiger is the AXL live bait blank. ATXL, sorry.
It's relatively inexpensive. I want to say it's like 30 or 50 bucks for that blank. And it is 50. A beast of a blank.
Mm-hmm. That's what my Phoenix is on.
Uh-huh. You use so many media types for grips. What is the oddest media type you have used from Duncan?
I think the leather is the oddest one. That's not something that's very common for people to use is the leather. Because I've done EVA, I've done cork, I've done wood, I've done like G2, G10, like all of that's kind of is what I would consider like standard grip material, but the leather is kind of like that way left field kind of thing. So I think out of all the stuff, I think leather would have to be the oddest, even though it makes sense to use leather. They used to use the leather wraps on the tuna rods.
Yes, Carlos, we have built a spinning rod using a fly blank. In particular, one of the international challenges.
Hey, the cool thing about blanks is they don't know what they're supposed to be built for.
Yep.
So
Which is also why common sense system is a wonderful thing to know how to do.
that's something that I think that I know it's not decorative, but I feel like we need to cover. Nobody discusses that. And I don't understand why.
Mudhole's actually got a inventory of their blanks using the common sense system now that Mike at Advanced Seminars.
Yeah, Mike. It's Mike.
He started doing inventory of all of them and they're putting it online now.
Good, because they need to. But what happens if they get rid of the penny? Because they're in discussions about discontinuing it.
You just use it based on weight. That's what I do all the time. I just convert the pennies to weight based on how much that penny weighs, and then I start dropping ounce sinkers and half ounce and doing it that way.
Yeah, but you would have to have a running like knowledge of how much it weighs.
Well, yeah, you just weigh a 19.
It's 1980.
It was post 99 pennies or pre 99, one of the two. I have to read back up on it, but
before 99.
It's pre 99 pennies that you find out the weight of them and then just add it up. That's how I did it.
We've got a printout of it. I don't remember where it came from, but how to do the common sense system. And that's like, it comes in handy when we do these international challenges. And they're like, here you go, here's a blank. And we don't have a clue what the heck it is. Most of the time, it's a multiple piece rod.
Neryl said, no one has a good video on common sense.
I present to you your next teacher.
I use it all the time. Like if I get a blank and I don't believe the ratings, I'll go over there and knock it out in like 5-10 minutes.
Maybe instead of doing it as a podcast, maybe we just record you doing it.
Yep.
And then it can be put out separate.
Yeah. Who do you use for 12 to 13 foot surf rods? Looking for a vendor that has them in stock on the regular. If we can't find it at Mudhole, we go to CTS or Century.
But the 12 to 13, like those, the Atrax blanks, I love them. They're a lot smaller than what people are used to in diameter, but they will absolutely handle the load. Both of I have a 13. How long is the Sugar Skull, the yellow one? She's 12 or 13.
I'll say she's 12.
That 12 foot, I was casting in the waves with her, and she, like a dream. Just
it depends on what rating you're looking for, but the Atrax goes up to what's called a spud, and that's the heaviest rating they have, and it'll cast 6-7 ounces.
It did fantastic, and it was very choppy that day too. You know how that affects the surf stuff, but
we will do that as soon as we can, Neryl.
We'll get it worked in. We have a couple that we're gonna. It's not in the next couple of weeks, but there are some that we're gonna have to be testing soon.
There's a lot of things happening very soon that plans are changing,
but they're good. They're good things.
Look into the Atrax.
Atrax is a good one. Obviously, if you're looking for the bigger diameter ones, then
Century, CTS.
I mean,
CTS
has got a great
and the price.
It's a great blank, but it's the wait time isn't as bad as some companies. But then you've got the shipping. The shipping is starting to get a little out of control with some stuff.
And the price point, like not everybody
can afford. I feel like CTS is like the Cadillac. Whenever you can go to Century and get.
No, CTS is like the Lamborghini when you can buy a Cadillac.
When you buy a Cadillac, and the Cadillac's gonna last longer than the Lamborghini will.
It'll be cheaper to fix.
It'll be cheaper to fix it. And the Atrax is the step below the Cadillac. Actually, I would consider it a Cadillac.
It's a Cadillac.
It's just not an SUV. It's
not a 1960s Cadillac.
It's a car. You know?
It's a new CTS-V.
It's very slim, modern, skinny, like, you know, those kind of vibes. I love the Atrax.
Yeah, most of our surf builds now are on that Atrax.
I love the Atrax. The Atrax and that the line paint blank, honestly.
Matter of fact, there's
3 or 4 of them over there.
4 Atrax sitting in the corner right now.
They were all planned I had planned for builds for them for me and you. And they've been there for about 2 years. So if you need one,
got busy.
Let us know. So when it comes to tiger wraps, it really is just generally just sitting down and trying, mixing different combinations of threads. Obviously, colors is going to affect how it looks. Different tops are going to affect how it looks. But in this episode, we just did the base layer, and I did a neon green, a yellow, a kind of royal blue, and then a darker blue. Even though there's two blues sitting beside each other in the wrap, you could not tell a difference between the two blues. They just look like two spaces of the same color. But what that's going to do is kind of create a little bit of depth in that little spot. And like I said, when I was pulling it, I wasn't trying to fight with placement of it going down in a certain place, because the last time that I tried to fight with it, me and it got in a fight, and it was 2 inches of me fighting with it, and I wasn't going to do it for 8 inches. So I just was like, all right, wherever you want to lay, you're going to lay. It's cool. And I'm sure wherever you put it on the thread spool or the thread carriage is going to change where the layout is of it. But we're just going with it. We're letting the thread tell me what to do tonight instead of me telling the thread what to do. But play around with burnishing techniques, play around with, different sizes of thread. I'm working with just size A, so everything is the exact same, because it's already aggravating enough for me to wrap them in bands. It's weird. The silliest things just drive me nuts. And it's the easiest things, but it just drives me up a wall. I digress. Go check out Doc Ski on YouTube to get more information and regarding to the colors and the combinations and how many layers he's putting in there. And you're going to see these things from start to finish and get a lot more information on how to get different patterns, like the kind of circle kind of things, or just the drags going back and forth. There's multiple things to play around with. And really, it's just the basic rules to the tiger. Doesn't matter how many colors you do. When you do your base layer, whatever direction you're wrapping in, your top layer, after you get done with however many levels of epoxy you're going to put in between, has to go the opposite way. So for me, I started at the grip and wrapped towards the tip. So my over wrap, the next time that we come back and do this, I got to start at the tip side and I got to wrap towards the butt. Otherwise, it's not going to behave the way it should. And keeping notes with a little piece of tape on the grips of what way you burnished, and then burnishing the opposite way when you do the top, is going to help create some of those fun little waves. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Stripes, tiger stripes. And really, that's all there is to it. Playing around and just coming up with different color combinations and seeing what works the best. In this situation, I'm going to put a darker color over the top, because I know from the previous draw, the neon green wasn't the best combination. It didn't look as good as the darker one did. And without doing the test, I wouldn't have known that. I would have gone with the green, pulled it off, and gone, ew. So check it out, try it out. If you don't have a 4-thread carriage, then, or 4-spool thread carriage, then by all means use the Decorate at 10 discount to save you some money on that. The thread runner, all of the things that you saw me using tonight can be purchased at Mudhole, and you can get 10% off with using that discount code Decorate at 10 at any point in time during the year on all of the Pro products, CRB products, the MHX, American Tackle, and Bappo Reel Seats. And with that, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Hope you learned how to do a tiger wrap. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at thedecorativestudio.com or send us a message. And if you have anything that you want to see as far as the decoration side is concerned, or any of the technical aspects of things, put it in the comments below. And with that, thank you, and y'all have a great night. Bye.
Toodaloo.